Hello, welcome back to another episode of our podcast, Just Speak. I am your host, Claire B. And as promised, again, we are bringing you another inspiring, amazing and a very authentic person to this week's podcast. Our podcast is all about real life, highs, lows, and everything in between. And I cannot wait for this episode with our lovely friend Anne, who's joining us today, because for me, I haven't known Anne that long, which has already inspired me and absolutely blows me away with her knowledge, her creativity, and her life story, to be honest. So, Anne, let's get going. We've already had a really busy day, right?
Yeah, we've been going through our play as directed by Claire, and everything's coming together really well. We're up and running about and putting everything together, so it's exciting times.
It is really exciting, and even today you're still sort of smashing personal goals and pushing your boundaries. Like today you're taking a wee solo song, a little...
I'd like to add I was forced.
You were forced.
Forced by the director. That's a big thing for me because I like doing group work, but I'm not good just standing up and singing. I love singing. I do a lot of it in the house, but I've never done it in front of anybody. So when you said, "Do you want to take that?" I said, "That's great." And then I started singing, and it sort of dwindled out. And I thought, I got really, really nervous.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
And then I thought, it's okay, you're safe. That's another thing I've learned when I'm here. You're safe, you're okay. And nobody's going to laugh at you or judge you. So when we got back up and we were in the circle, and I did it, I felt a bit better that I was standing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was able to project my voice out. So yeah, I'll get there.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing. So, and you are super organised. You are... Any time I'm needing any information on what we're doing, where we're up to, you've got it. So here you are, well organised. I love it. You're a big note taker. We have a shared appreciation of notebooks, don't we?
We do.
Love a notebook. So you take the floor. You guide me, if you like. Where do you want to start?
Just could maybe start just at my journey and how I came to get to know Just Be.
Yeah.
Jess, who works for the NHS, I don't exactly know Jess's job title, but she'd always ask me to come down to Just Be, and I came down once for the singing group, and I thought I didn't feel in a good place, and I came in for 10 minutes and thought I need to get out here. So I ran as I normally would if I get scared. So, and Jess came after me, and like you said, wait a minute, and I was like halfway down the road, but not really, but anyway, so I thought it's not the time. Then about 2 months later, she texted me and said, "Do you want to come to the drama group?" And for some reason that day, I knew it was just that day, I had to come down to the drama group. I listened to my inner self a lot, and I came down and I thought, yeah, this is the time. And I came in and I thought, yeah, this is the place I've got to be. And then from that, I can't remember if that was the day, Claire, that we talked about loss. I can't remember if it's
either that day or maybe a couple of weeks into it, wasn't it? Because we kind of bonded a wee bit, haven't we, by that time? So, but
from there, I got to know about the women's group, which is on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 to 12, and it's an amazing group. It's you're very welcome there, and people are very genuine because these people, what I'm finding, have lived experiences, so there's always somebody there when you come in. Do you want a cup of tea? Or give you a wee rub on the shoulder. They kind of know how you're feeling. You don't need to say anything. You come in, you can be as quiet as you want or chat away. And in the art group, you can basically do what you want. You can colour in, you can draw, you can knit, or unless there's something needed doing for an exhibition or something. And then also got to find out about, what was next? Life After Loss on a Wednesday was put together.
Yeah, that's been really good, hasn't it? Really special, isn't it, that? Yeah. I hold that quite close as well to my
Definitely, it's a well attended group. We also get people from outside organisations coming in, like I think the Lonely Funeral people are coming in.
Yeah. And we've had someone from Marie Curie, haven't we, come and give us a wee talk, and Funeral Length, they come along as well, which is just lovely. And yeah, that's really a very slightly different group, isn't it, in terms of what, you know, it's just a calm, safe space, isn't it?
It is, and it's about all different types of grief as well. It's grief as well.
Yeah.
Not only about dying, which is really hard, but it's about, you know, like myself, having lost my childhood. And I think a lot of people I've spoke to here are the same. They've lost their childhood. And one big thing is, since coming here, I was telling Michelle, the counsellor, yesterday, I said, coming here, and we're talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and we're talking about these are all things that human beings need. Mm-hmm. Having a safe home, having, you know, food, water. When you don't have that, and you don't have consistency as a baby, as a child growing up, you're in survival mode constantly. So you're constantly, you know what I mean, hyper alert, and that's, you're surviving, you're not living a childhood. But since coming here, and at 56 years old, I feel that I'm now, because I'm safe, and I've now got all these things, these basic needs being met, I can do the things that I should have been able to do in childhood. So I can make my art, which is really important to me. I can sing in front of people. I can do drama, go on the stage in front of people. I can learn to play guitar, which I'm doing. I'll just show a photograph of my new guitar. That's a Jim Dandy, which I knew nothing about, but like when I got the feeling of it's the right time to come to the drama group at Just Be, I also got a feeling the week after to say you have to go to the guitar group. And I went in and I thought, I've never done this in my life. And about 3 months ago I started, and this is the guitar I'm learning on. I now know 7 chords, and because of that I'm now learning piano. And I walked out one day thinking, I'm actually learning to play the guitar and the piano, you know, and 3-4 months ago I would never even imagined that, because you're always told you're stupid and you're thick and you're fat and you're ugly, and suddenly I'm thinking, because I'm here and everything you learn from here and you want to better yourself, and that's the beauty of being here. Everybody wants to help one another. Because a couple of weeks ago in the Life After Loss group, I got really nervous, and I went into fight and flight and thought, right, I'm gonna run. That's me. I'm off, and that's what I'd normally just physically run and not come back. But I didn't. I stayed to the end because I don't like upsetting everybody else. And then I did run, but Claire caught me, and she's like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "I'm okay, because I don't like people knowing I'm upset because I feel very vulnerable." And Claire phoned me after, and I said, "I'm okay, don't worry." And I was proud of myself because I went home and I digested, I processed my thoughts and worked out what the feelings were, why I was like that. It's through work I'm doing on my own researching, but it's also having a safe space here. And that's the other thing I've written down, is a sense of belonging to a place, because I've never had that. I was in and out of children's homes, foster care. I lived on the streets when I was 13. Slept in bins, had no food. So I've written down here that I'm always emotionally in transit, because I am. But not so much now, but all my life I've felt I'm always on the move. I never unpack. My house is cluttered because I'm always ready to move. Yeah. And that's been like that since I've been about 1, 2. So here is like a haven, because I wrote somewhere, where did I write it? I wrote somewhere, is it in here? I wrote somewhere down a side street in Dundee, you open this door into this hall. I think I wrote it here. As I write this in the summer of 2023, I'm at last finding me, and Thanks to Just Be Dundee, Claire and her amazing team. With you, I've found love, care, interest in me, along with the amazing groups, Life After Loss, Drama Group, Women's Group, Guitar Group. Inside of the hall in the side street in Dundee lives a community of lived experiences, of care and hope, and where I can just be myself, where experiences help others. Jess had offered me many times to come along to the singing group and Just Be, but I didn't want to go. Until that is, I knew I had to go along to the drama group. She mentioned, I'm so glad I did. And the right moment is always known in the heart. And I can't read what else I've written. The heart. If only we listen, we can. I can't remember the rest of that, but yeah, so that's what I wrote. So there's lots of things I'm finding out about myself now, and each day I grow more. And it's just amazing. Sometimes I'm thinking to myself, I know it sounds a bit majestical, but sometimes I think to myself, is this really happening to me? Because I thought there's something different about this place, and I go home every night thinking, this is weird. And now I had two situations a few weeks ago that I would never have acted positively to. I just would have physically ran and never came back. And I thought to myself, no, you can do this. It's because now I'm learning now how to work through my feelings and regulate my emotions. Because as I say, I was always in fight and flight. I was always ready for somebody to attack me, verbally, emotionally, other things, And it's because I suffer with complex trauma and other things, mental health. You're dealing with that, and because I'm quiet and creative and that, I've always been bullied. And people just don't understand you. Here, people get you. You don't need to wear a mask. And I probably had to wear a mask all my life. Yeah.
It's a lot, Anne, isn't it? And as you said, you were proud of you, and I'm so proud of you so many times, and I know so many people are as well. But it does blow my mind, and I'm really disappointed in society as a whole that you have to have gone through these things, and many people do, I know, but it's just such a disappointment, isn't it? It's not fair, it's unfair, but by you sharing these, then hopefully, well, certainly other people will draw from you and be inspired by you.
Yeah, there's so many people, and one thing I never do is I never compare people's situations or experiences, because that happened to me once, and I always vowed, everybody's pain is their pain. But yours is worse than mine.
No.
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
Your pain is
it's
your
like
pain.
Another loss, isn't it? Yeah. We're never in our loss cafe. We never because we speak about animals, don't we, as well? And we're having somebody that deals with that animal bereavement, and we don't judge anything. And you're right. There's no comparison with each other. When you first shared with me about your early part of your life, it really touched me, and I was so, because there's a place in Dundee, isn't there, that we drove past, that you spoke about, Carolina House.
Oh yeah, that's one of the children's homes I was in. I loved that, and the song that was out at the time was Bucks Fizz, Land of Make Believe.
Oh,
and I always,
1982,
and I always remember that, because to me it was the land of make believe, because it was great. I could go to my bed at night and I was safe, and nobody would open my door, and then hell would take over, and I was safe, and I had food, and there was a piano in the dining room, and I couldn't play, but I just used to ding dong ding, and then there were swings outside, and then the only thing was, you just get taken to St John's, the high school, in the minibus that said Carolina House Children's Home. And I was like, could you let me off up there? No, you have to get taken into the grounds. And I was like, well, that's too embarrassing. My friend said, why are you getting taken in a big mini? My dad works for them, but he obviously didn't, but I used to get embarrassed.
So how old were you then, Anne?
I was 13 when I went into that home.
Really?
Yeah, but I was in loads of homes in Dundee. I was in the nuns' home in Rosangle, I was in the shelter home, I was in other homes in Glasgow. I was all over Scotland.
Carolina House, you got really good memories of
I
that
loved
one?
it. Even the one in the Rosangle, the nuns' home, that was brilliant. I loved that. I still remember having cornflakes with bananas chopped up, and I still have that yet.
Yeah.
And that's one of my soothing techniques.
Yeah.
when I start panicking, I think, no, right, I can't breathe, the anxiety comes on. I think, right, so I've got my wee box made up. I've got a wee travelling box, which Michelle said is a good idea. So I've got my travelling bag. So I've got like poppers and that, the popper things.
Yeah.
And I've got some chewing gum and mints, and I've got some essential oils, and I've got my wee notebook at writing. And then I've got my one at home, that I can use, which is similar, but I've got candles and that in it. But yeah, I always do things like eat sweets from my childhood, or, things like that, and that soothes me as well, Or I learned of one last year, like a cold shower, which I never knew of, but actually is really good. Or a bath, or have a nice cup of tea, or put music on the Alexa, or sit with my cats. I think people know what to do naturally. It's like Michelle said, just getting everything pulled together. And she said something to me the other day, I wrote down. She said, we talked about the podcast, and she said something that touched her was when she first met me, and I told her about my childhood, and she said, I've never heard of such a horrific childhood. And she said, what upset me was that nobody had said that to you before. Well, I didn't know. I just thought that was normal. Kind of what happened to me, and I don't want to go into details, but I thought that was kind of normal. But I've never felt like a victim. I've always thought I learned from things. So because I was able to go through that, then I was able to do the work I did with people throughout my adult life, So I was glad of doing that. I was able to reach people and, on the streets and that. I was able to work in prisons. I was able to work with kids who were in care, people who were dependent on alcohol and drugs, people who were sleeping rough, as I said. And throughout Scotland, I used my art as a therapy. So I was able to go around and, because I knew what it was like. You know what I mean?
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't always easy because a lot of things up for me, but yeah, and I was also able to take my love of art to degree level, master's degree, so that was one of the happiest times of my life at Duncan Jordanston. I loved that. Then after that I went to Queen Margaret University and I did 2 years of art therapy, but it was very scientific. It wasn't for me. It really wasn't for me, but
You're more spontaneous, aren't you?
yeah, I was wanting to paint and everything.
And
Yeah, it was very academic, and I thought, I've done too much of that, I can't be bothered. I've learned a lot in my life. It's not been an easy life, even in my adult life, because of what happened from when I was small. And obviously I took into relationships, baggage and everything, and I thought, it was like, I wrote something down about relationships. When you suffer with complex post-traumatic stress disorder and other stuff, when you go into relationships, it's like you hold them hostage. You're scared they're going to leave. You know what I mean? So you're panicking. So every move is, don't leave me, don't leave me. You know what I mean? Like, they could be beating you up and you're like, well, that's okay, but as long as you don't leave me. And I'm thinking, what the hell were you doing? So all this stuff's going about in my head, and I'm thinking, oh my God. You know what I mean? And I'm suddenly having realisation, and because, as I say, I've got all basic needs met now, the realisation's coming, and I'm thinking, seeing things like the clouds are parting, I'm seeing what's real, and I'm now boundaries in place, and I'm thinking, wow. Sometimes I go home and thinking, it's a bit strange. It's like, to me, I'm saying it's a children's home. That's what I can, see it as, because that's where it always felt most safe, But yeah, it's just an amazing place.
the amazing thing is we get amazing people on, and as you say, you've got all these amazing advice. Like, top tips are plenty.
Top tips are plenty. That's great. Top tips are plenty.
But I'm just sitting here. I'm so glad you said you've been around schools and prisons and all that, because I'm sitting here thinking, oh wow, people. Yeah, this is that. That's exactly what you should have been doing, and probably still should.
People say, when I tell them, they're like, what do you mean you've been in prison? I said, no, I've worked in prison.
Get to go out again at the end of the day.
And they said, but you're so quiet. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't need to be the loudest person in the room to work with people. It's not about that.
And because what I was thinking about as well with children as well, especially children that you're suffering with trauma or suffering, with attachment, they need people that are calm and just, easygoing, and they don't need the fast pace, boom, 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 and you're just such a lovely fit for that, and more people should be more understanding of that and in tune, but then you've got all this experience to draw from, so you know the recipe.
I think a lot of people here, you know what I mean, you kind of, and the funny thing is, a lot of people, if people met a lot of people from here, they'd be like, they've got everything together, they're on the ball, but you don't see behind the scenes what they've got to deal with every day, you know what I mean, and now I've got friends here and I know, you know what I mean, I look at them and think, like when they go out and they're on stage or that, or and I think, yeah, yep.
It's great,
well
isn't
done,
it?
yeah.
I think what's nice as well is you feel safe and you don't have to wear your mask, but you've got lots of people. You're building a really nice network, so you're not having to just rely on one person. Because sometimes we cling to one person or one organisation. You've got a lovely balance. I hope anyway. You've met some really nice people. I mean, just lovely people. So you've got that, which I think is a really good key to finding the balance. And it's not like everything is here. You've still got your life elsewhere as well. You're still...
See, that's it. I mean, yeah, I do, and I think that I think I'll be leaving here anytime soon, but unless I get chucked out. So what I can do now is I thought I might take a bus journey to Perth. Now, to anybody else, you might think that's nothing. To me, that's major. So I was thinking about that, and
I love that, Anne.
you know what I mean. It's just things like that. A couple of months ago, we were at Cycle Fest in Camperdown. It was amazing because I used to love cycling. I used to run until 2010. I did athletics, loved it, and then I stopped. And when I got on the bike in Cycle Fest, a bit wobbly at first, and then I went off, and it just the air in my face and the smell going past the trees, I couldn't believe it, and that was very, very moving for me. And that was thanks to Just Be, because I would never have went up to Cycle Fest. All I ever did was stay in my house, go to the needle shop, come back, make sure my cats are fed and everything looked after. It's just so exciting, this place. There's so many possibilities, and it's just dead exciting, and you just want to give back, because Just Be is just that. It's just about being yourself, and everybody helps one another, and that's the beauty of it. That's what people do. They want to help, definitely.
So, Anne, anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
Yeah, another thing, we went about 4 of us went to the V&A about a month ago, and it was a weaving workshop, and it was amazing. And this is a piece I made there, if you can see it okay. And it was absolutely fantastic, and I'd always wanted to do weaving, and it's made me get a small loom now.
Wow!
It's just a wee one, a hand one, but I might invest in a bigger one. I'd love to do that. So it's just lots of things. And there was one quote I was going to read for you. Emotionally dysregulated adults are beyond what a child's nervous system can handle. And that was Patrick Teehan. He's a psychologist who suffered severe childhood trauma. And for me, that's right, because when I was a child, I became the adult. And I never had a childhood, because I was looking after an alcoholic father, a mother who just pushed me forward, and that caused all sorts of things. But I learned from it. And I can see how alcohol is a family illness and everything that comes with it. But yeah, I just thought I'd finish on that.
Oh, lovely, Anne. I really appreciate everything you've brought literally to this table.
Thank you, Claire, for wanting to talk to me. I mean, you never got much words in, did you?
It's not about me. It's all, honestly, I just... When I actually thought you would knock me back when I asked you if you would do the podcast. So I'm so grateful that you did, because I knew you would have so much to bring and so much to share. And as I say, for people to learn from. Because people will judge you, but not in a negative way. People will think, as you say, she's got it together. She's probably had a privileged life of X, Y, Z. So it's so important that we, if we can, share because it does help everybody, doesn't
I
it?
get it all the time. Oh, you've come from money. What? I get it all the time.
Yeah.
All the
Funny,
time.
isn't it?
Yeah, people don't think it. They think I'm quiet and don't have a clue. I might suffer be a bit of anxiety or something. I'm like, okay.
I can't wait to hear about this bus journey to Perth.
Yeah.
And I hope you get good weather. I'm excited about that, Anne, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So thank you very much again to our lovely guest, Anne, today. It really means such a lot that people have a platform to come along and chat and share their story, and I know it's so brave for so many people and very much out of the comfort zone. So Anne, what a dream guest today. I would just like to say a huge thank you to our funders, which is the NHS CIF Fund and the SCVO Digital Pioneers Fund.
And I'm thinking, I'm laughing because it's just,
Is there anything else?
it's just nothing's impossible.
Nothing's impossible, and that's the key.